Imagine being face to face with one of history's most terrifying serial killers and living to tell the tale. What if I told you that the Zodiac Killer's reign of terror may not have ended when we thought it did? Tonight, we dive into the haunting story of a survivor who claims to have escaped the Zodiac Killer, and the terrifying clues suggesting that the killer might still be out there. Make sure to stay until the end, because what we uncover will leave you questioning everything. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We want to hear your theories. The Zodiac Killer is one of America's most infamous serial killers, a man who taunted police with cryptic letters and ciphers, evading capture for decades. His confirmed murders terrorized California in the 1960s, but could his story have more chapters than we know? In this episode, we bring you the chilling account of a survivor who claims they encountered the Zodiac Killer years after his alleged final murder. Their story is one of fear, survival, and lingering questions. What really happened that night, and is the Zodiac still among us? It all began in the early 1980s when a young woman named Rachel, name changed for privacy, was driving late at night through the rural roads of Northern California. The route was quiet, the moonlight dim, and the air unnervingly still. Rachel noticed a car trailing her for miles, its headlights ominously close. At first, she brushed it off as coincidence, but as the car began flashing its lights and honking, panic set in. Rachel eventually pulled over, thinking the driver might need help. But what stepped out of the car froze her in terror. A man wearing dark clothing, a chilling grin on his face, and holding what appeared to be a weapon. Rachel's instincts screamed at her to run, and that's exactly what she did. Rachel bolted into the woods, her heart pounding as she heard the man's footsteps behind her. She hid behind a tree, her breath shallow, hoping the darkness would conceal her. The man called out in a calm, taunting voice, "You can't hide forever, Rachel." How did he know her name? The fear was paralyzing. Hours felt like days as she stayed hidden, eventually hearing the sound of his car driving away. Rachel made it to safety, but the nightmare wasn't over. Days later, a letter arrived at her home. The handwriting was unmistakable. It matched the Zodiac Killer's infamous letters. The message was clear: "Next time, I won't miss." Rachel's story caught the attention of local authorities, but without concrete evidence, they dismissed the possibility of it being the Zodiac. Over the years, more letters arrived, cryptic messages, taunts, and clues that seemed to suggest the killer was watching her every move. Investigators compared the letters to those from the 1960s, and while similarities existed, the truth remained elusive. Was it a copycat killer, or had the Zodiac returned? Rachel was convinced that the man she encountered was the same person responsible for the decades-old murders. But why had he chosen her? And why had he let her go? Years later, new technology allowed experts to analyze the letters Rachel received. DNA traces on the envelopes were inconclusive, but what they found on one particular letter shocked everyone. It contained a partial match to a known suspect in the original Zodiac case. While authorities hesitated to confirm the Zodiac's identity, Rachel's account reignited fears that the killer had never truly stopped. The most unsettling part? Rachel claims she still feels watched to this day. Cryptic phone calls, cars parked outside her home, and even strangers who seem to know too much. Could the Zodiac, or someone inspired by him, still be at large? Rachel's story is both terrifying and perplexing. It leaves us wondering, how many survivors like her are out there living in fear, their stories untold? Is the Zodiac Killer truly gone, or has he managed to evade justice for over 5 decades? The truth remains a mystery. What do you think? Could Rachel's encounter be the real Zodiac Killer, or is it the work of an obsessed copycat? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's darkest mysteries, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time for another spine-chilling story.